New Falls Count Anywhere, a part of the Earnestly Speaking podcast. I'm your host, Ernest, EJ Christian. We're recording this actually a little earlier than usual on the Tuesday, October 28th, 2025. Normally when of course on the show on Wednesdays, but things came up. I have something going on this week. But of course, we do this every single week. Well, every week, but as much as we could with our man. Of course, 1/3 of the Modern Wrestling podcast, also host of the Rob the Genius podcast. It is the man, the myth, the legend, Rob the Genius with us. Rob, what's up, brother?
Hey, good to be back.
Yeah, I'm going to a concert tomorrow night. That's why we're doing it. Recording a little earlier. This will still drop on the Thursday, as planned, but just recording a day earlier than usual because of personal stuff here going on home. But anyway. We haven't talked about 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah,
a few weeks. That'll be a few weeks.
It's been a few weeks.
And we did say though, football season, especially right now with World Series, NBA's back, college football's back, because right now going on NFL, it's peak time for me with sports, and there's so much content going out. Sometimes wrestling suffers. You know what I mean? But yeah. I gotta say, a lot going on here. But we're going to preview the main event coming up this coming Saturday in Salt Lake City. But before we get to that, I want to discuss something that Bleacher Report did this past, I want to say 2 weeks ago, maybe a week ago, that we want to react to. It was their top 25 male WWE superstars of the last 25 years.
Yeah.
I'll run through the list real quick, just to kind of get an idea. So 25 was Kofi Kingston, 24 Booker T, 23, Kevin Owens, 22, Dean Ambrose, 21, Cody Rhodes, 20, Stone Cold Steve Austin, 19, AJ Styles, 18, Batista, 17, Shawn Michaels, 16, Jeff Hardy, 15, Eddie Guerrero, 14, CM Punk, 13, Triple H, 12, Brock Lesnar, 11, Edge, 10, Daniel Bryan, number 9, The Rock, 8, Seth Rollins, 7, Kurt Angle, 6, The Undertaker, 5, Chris Jericho, 4, Rey Mysterio, 3, Roman Reigns, 2, Randy Orton, and 1, John Cena. Now, I have no problem with number 1, for the record. No problem with that. He is by far, in the last quarter century, the biggest star in the company of those years. I know we're going to say, well, what Rock Austin? Austin's push to the top was in the 90s.
Yes, exactly.
The Rock, you can argue the same thing too also. But after you get past number 1, and maybe number 2, I can see number 2, why Orton's number 2. But after that, this list is all fucked up. I feel like this list is all like a bunch of people who have people put their favorites on the list here, as opposed to what is impactful, what makes sense, and what stands out. What stand out for you, and we'll react to what stands out for you.
Okay.
On this list.
Chris Jericho and Rey Mysterio have the Undertaker is egregious.
Now, can I argue? Not saying I disagree with you, because I do agree with you on that. Taker's best. What is Taker's best run though? In the 90s, right? Would you agree?
No. It was after, no, because I mean the streak matches didn't get good until the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
I mean the streak matches, most of the streak matches during the 90s were not very good. And he was in probably like a bottom 5 WrestleMania main event against Psycho Sid.
Oh, that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I don't know about bottom 5, but maybe. I guess main events? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
We got to, you know what? We should do it one day. One day we do. One day next year, main event season, we'll do like a top 5 worst main event WrestleMania main events ever.
Trust me.
At the worst, the bottom 5.
That one's up there.
Okay. Wasn't a good match. I agree with that. I agree on that one. But go ahead.
I mean, and during the 90s, he got stuck with a bunch of stiffs. He got stuck with Giant Gonzalez and, washed up King Kong Bundy. And, he had a casket match like Mabel, I think. I mean, the 90s were not good to The Undertaker.
I mean, if you look at WrestleMania, I agree. But in terms of storytelling and the character and what got him over and sustaining all that, I mean, look, I'm not going to lie to you. A lot of it's biased too because I watched more of his work in the 90s than I did in the 2000s because I was checked out by 2002. Obviously, Height of Power is his best matches, his most iconic matches are definitely in the 2000s and even beyond that. But in terms of the work he did overall, not just in ring, but character, I can make the argument it's closer to a wash. Now, having said that, I will concede this: work rate, wise, no question, 2000s, because there's some things there with Brock, not just streak stuff, but in 2002, match with the Brock Lesnar in Hell in a Cell. There's matches with obviously with Shawn and Mania, but it's also a lot of really good things with Orton and 05 and all this stuff. I would argue yes. In terms of the whole package, maybe the 2000s are better than 90s, but I think the character of what made him who he was, it's hard to ignore the 90s also too, in his case anyway.
Sure, but remember, and he was a big deal for 20 years of little 25. Chris Jericho was not. And neither was Ray. So
Yeah. I think Orton is slightly too high. I think Roman is.
Well, I think Orton is a longevity pick because
Orton. Let me say this: Orton should be top 5.
Yes, he'd be top 5. Yes.
But at this point, what Roman did his last 5 years is more of what Orton's done his entire career at WWE. What Roman has done in this half, and Roman should be ahead of Randy Orton for that alone.
And Randy Orton was never the unquestioned number 1 guy.
Correct. Roman is. I agree. Rey Mysterio is too high. Jericho's too high. Taker's too low. I Taker's to be top 5. I agree. Go ahead. Anything else that stands out to you here?
Kurt Angle, I'd say, is too high because he was gone after 2006.
I agree with you on that one as well. That's one for me as well. Yep.
I mean, and you could argue a lot of his best work was in TNA.
True.
So, yeah, Kurt Angle's too high. I think Rollins should be ahead of Kurt Angle for sure.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily. Or Angle should not. Dude, I can make a case that Kurt Angle should not even be in the top 20. Because if look, the list here, people that they obviously view longevity as a thing. Well, Angle had 6 years in the company.
Yeah.
So what are we doing? Because I would take even The Rock, what he did in the 2000s with the absences and come back over Angle.
I mean, Daniel Bryan was there for 10 years.
Bro, I can find you this list alone. Here are the following guys I put Angle right now in the 25 years. I put Seth, The Rock, Brock Lesnar. I can argue Edge.
Well, no, look, Edge. No, to me, it's not even an argument. Edge won 2 Royal Rumbles. He made.
There you go. There you go. Triple H. I put ahead of Kurt Angle in 2000s.
Yes.
Punk is debatable. Shawn Michaels could be debatable. I mean, Shawn Michaels was a part-timer pretty much in 2000s. It's only problem. At this point, you almost can make a case of Cody out of him. So that's 8 guys I mentioned there, 7 guys I mentioned there that can go easy or Angle. That is not me shitting on Angle for the record, because I love Kurt Angle.
You could argue AJ Styles at this point.
Yeah. I mean,
AJ's been there 10 years. AJ beat John Cena at SummerSlam. AJ was world champion after like 6 months.
And again, what hurts Angle here is not because he's not great. Angle's fantastic. What hurts Angle is the lack of longevity in the company. He was only here for 6 years of the 25. That's a hurt him argument.
I mean, you can make an argument for Dean Ambrose. I mean,
it's the very reason why Stone Cold Steve Austin is number 20 and not higher, because of the again, his ascent was in the 90s, and then he only has 3 years.
Yeah,
that.
I mean,
and one of those years he's injured actually.
Yeah, I mean, Austin's such a weird case because during any one of those years he was there. I mean, during his big run, he was the number 1 guy,
unquestionable one too.
Yeah, but it's just it was a couple of years at the very end of the 90s and then a couple
Yeah.
of years at the very beginning of the 2000s. And there's just so many other guys just, have longer runs. But his peak is, you know, his peak is Hogan Bruno level, you
Yeah.
know.
And
But
he's still
it was short.
and he's still argue and he's still people say arguably, I say I think it's unarguable at this point. He is probably still to this day the most popular superstar in history of the company. To this day. Height of powers.
Yeah, and then also, I mean, like Hogan had Rocky 3, was coming off of Rocky 3 and he had so his name was already out there like that, with the general public. Like Austin, that was all him, man.
Yeah.
And he was a mid-card guy from WCW. And I mean he was a really damn good one, but still, you know, a mid-card guy from WCW coming over there and becoming the biggest star in the whole industry. That is nobody called that.
No. No. No, I think Austin is I think they have that correct, but I do think that yeah, I have that correct. For me, what stands out here as I look, I think Randy's slightly too high, but I'm not arguing with that one. I think 4 and 5 are way too high. 7's too high. Seth Rollins actually is probably too low at this point. This point, now is Seth Rollins top 5? That's arguable, but I think in case either way, Brock Lesnar should be much higher than he is. I think to be honest with you, I think Brock is the biggest, most egregious one of all. Because yes, he missed 2005 through 2011. Yes. But the impact in 2004 and the impact in 2012 beyond supersedes all that stuff. This is the guy who beat the streak. This is the guy that was, the next best thing. He should be top 10 easy. To be honest with you, I think he'd be over The Rock if you're having a conversation about that.
Man.
There's argument for that.
Yeah, because I mean, well, Rock is in the same boat as Austin, really. Except I would put Rock ahead of Austin because Rock had the comeback later.
Oh, of course, yeah, without question. Yeah, I agree with that. 100%. I'm trying to pull out anything else that stood out to me. Guerrero's fine. Like I know a lot of people love him. I don't know if I put him ahead of Shawn Michaels though, still even in 2000s. But again, Guerrero was a full timer in those 5 years. He was here and he was doing everything for the company.
Batista's too high.
18?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was injured a lot.
Mm-hmm.
His run at the top wasn't. I mean, as
long.
a top level guy, it was from like 2005 to 2010, and then he missed a lot of time during those 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, AJ Styles has had a better WWE career than Batista.
I would argue even Cody at this point now.
And Dean Ambrose has a better WWE career than Batista.
Is he top 25? Yes. He's in the 20s. He's in the 20s. I agree with you on that.
Kevin Owens has had a better WWE career than Batista. Kevin Owens is 20. Yes. Stack them next to each other.
No. So what I will say is because Kevin Owens has been more consistent because of the injuries or lack of injuries, is the argument. Height of powers though, Batista's done more at the top. That's what it is for me.
To me, I think Batista is one of those guys. He's an example of one of those guys who he was a big deal because they pushed him as a big deal.
Right.
And
I think Jeff Hardy's too high also too, but I think they're also using the Hardy Boys as an argument. I'm assuming
Jeff Hardy's one of the people you had to be there.
Yeah.
And Jeff Hardy's like DMX.
It's funny you said that. That's funny you said that. It's funny that I just put up a video on my social media today. Was talking about DMX, and I got a reply about that. So
like you had to be there for DMX.
Yes, correct. Yes,
you had to be there. Okay. And so during like you had to be there for Jeff Hardy's peak. You can't quantify it now.
mm-hmm.
You have to be there.
Yeah. The problem is the reason why it stands out for me though is that I hear you, but I have a hard time still putting Jeff Hardy even ahead of 2000 Shawn Michaels, given the work Shawn Michaels did even at part time. I have a hard time putting him ahead of Cody Rhodes, especially in the last couple of years. So yeah, you got to be there, and I get it. But it's just when you start putting him again ahead of guys like those two I mentioned, it's like, oh, you got to be there. But I know those two guys that I mentioned also have done some really important things too. Also, that not even Jeff Hardy can even like sneeze at. So I'm not mad about it. For the record, I'm not mad about it. But yeah, I think the list, like overall, they have the right guys. The order's just jacked up. Like number one is perfect. Cena is unquestionably number one in the last 25 years. That's not even a conversation. But in the top three is the margin of error. I think Roman should be ahead of Randy Orton just based on the height of powers argument. But the to be honest with you, the top three is actually correct. Taker should be number 4, number 3 out of 4, no lower than 5. I'll say that. But Brock, I think the most biggest one is, and I'm because I'm saying I'm a Brock mark, but Brock is way too low for number 12. That's way too low, in my opinion. So,
and for me, Chris Jericho is just way too high. And I was a Jericho-holic.
I know you were.
But he's too high.
Yeah.
I mean, he should be in the list, yes, but he should not be 5. No.
Yeah. Anything else this one you want to pluck out here? Or are you good?
No JBL. Well,
you know why? It was a short run, just 1 year run, and then
that's the only problem. Yeah, it was. Yeah, and so
he's kind of the equivalent of the Hunky Kong. Like he had that one run of the belt, got everybody over, and then after he lost the belt, he was pretty much, meh. You know what I'm saying? That's why. It's not his fault. It's booking.
No, true.
So, then who else in the list that you could mention on here? No, not Drew. I was going to say Drew McIntyre, but no, that's Bray Wyatt.
He's honorable mention.
Okay, Bray Wyatt. You know what we should do? We should do our own list.
Okay.
Our own list. We do a couple weeks.
Okay.
Do all top 25 in order. If you want to do 25, we'll do 20. I don't care how you want to do it.
Okay.
We'll do 20. We'll do 25, want to?
What I always do when I do this type of thing, I'll make like a big ass list, and then
you do the fuck you, brother. You do. I know you put a lot of like a lot of science into it and all this stuff, and that's okay. I love it. I think it's great. That's what we'll do. Well, oh my bad. We'll do that. We'll why is this not working? Sorry about that. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll figure it out. But yeah, I think that's like I said, the list is fine. But we'll do 25 lists sometime next month. And we'll do a whole episode on that just to see, because I think that's an interesting argument, though. I think it's an interesting argument, in pertaining to this. I don't know why it's not working. This thing's not cooperating with me. I don't know. This is weird. All right, never mind. All right. Anyway, anything else on the list you want to pluck out, or are you good?
No, I think I noticed that JBL wasn't there, but like you said, he had a short run. I think they covered everybody though. It's like I'm just trying to think of people, anybody they might have. Well, Shelton Benjamin's not there, but he never got to the top.
Yeah. I'm trying to find other guys too. Also, that might have been on the list, but yeah, the only one I can consider is either Bray Wyatt or Drew McIntyre. That's it.
Yeah.
Everybody else is pretty much like, and again, this is male. People say, well, what about Charlotte Flair and Becky?
It said
male list. Male list, okay? And when we do the list, we do male as well too. Although if you do female, I think that'd be interesting though too, because if you do female, you fun out a lot of the Jeff Hardys and the even Stone Cold Steve Austin made me on the list anymore. Because there are a lot of females that there's not a lot in the last 10, 15 years. So, but anyway, one more thing. It's like be a simple show today, but we do have a big Sunday's main event coming up this coming Saturday. Taking place at Salt Lake City, Utah, at the Delta Center, home of the Utah Jazz. So far, we have 4 matches for this show. Let's get to the first one first. And for the record, all 4 matches are all championship matches for the record. That's pretty cool, actually. First match, we have a triple threat match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship between Dominic Mysterio versus Penta versus Rusev. I'm enjoying this Dominic Rusev like cat and mouse thing, actually.
Yeah, because it's will Rusev finally just get his hands on him and just like squash him eventually?
Mm-hmm.
That's the big $1 million question.
I think Penta's no shot winning the title. No shot for Penta.
No,
so he's not even considered. He's just there to entertain at this point.
Yes.
And I've said on record that Dominic Mysterio is our modern day honky tonk man, where he's the guy that the cowardly champion that gets away with everything.
Yes,
but at what point does that end? I don't think you get that right now. Would it shock me if they pull the trigger on Rusev now to get the title now? It'd be a little shocking, but it would definitely add some intrigue to the storyline. But I do think Dominic still comes away as champion. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he escapes one more time. Sure.
So is Dominic and Rusev still both heels?
No, they're still what now?
They're both heels, right?
Yeah, Rusev. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they are. Well, Dominic definitely is. Rusev is kind of undefined,
Yeah, he's just a badass, like Bobby Lashley type, kick ass. Yeah. I don't know. I see Dominic just taking this one, and that's simple as hell. All right, we have a women's single match for the WWE Women's Championship between Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill. Hey, so Jade is now a heel.
Yeah, it looks like
I like it, and that's the way I like it. That's the way I want it to happen.
Well, she doesn't have the personality to be a babyface.
Nope.
She doesn't.
No, never bought into the whole babyface thing with him. Her and Naomi. They didn't buy into it.
Yeah, she just didn't. I mean, she doesn't have the demeanor or the personality for that.
I already told you I'm over the Tiffany Stratton title reign. I will say though, they're adding some sympathy to her now a little bit with this Jade angle. But could this be the night they make the switch? You know they want to do this at some point. You know they want to do this at some point. It's going to happen.
Well, all right. So Jade may not win the title Saturday. If she doesn't, then I'm assuming she's going to get like disqualified or something. If she doesn't win the title, but if she loses the match, then what are we doing?
Yeah, Jade cannot afford to lose a match at this point. Like Tiffany could lose here and not get hurt at this point because she's had the belt so damn long.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call Jade. I'm gonna call Jade win the title. Although I do believe that what you're saying is probably a little more likely because I think this feud has at least a lot more legs to it. And do you pull the trigger this soon on it? I don't know, but the company wants to put the title on Jade, whether or not she's ready or not. You know that the thirst is there.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be Jade and Bianca at WrestleMania.
Yeah. So give me Jade to win the title here on this one. All right, we have another match here for the undisputed WWE Championship between Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre.
I don't think. Well, every title can't change hands. Well, I think Cody wins here. I think. And yeah, look, I was hoping that Drew would have beaten him for it back at WrestlePalooza
Me
because
too.
I thought that a nice little run with Drew with the belt would have been a nice change of pace, but I don't think they're doing that. So
I am enjoying this feud though. I mean, the whole Drew and Jake Fatu feud and all that, and version of this one with Cody. Fatu's out for a while apparently.
yeah,
I mean, how many more losses can Drew take though at this point, man?
that's the problem. I mean, and I think I mean, put it this way, again, I think it's the same situation like with Jade. He doesn't have to win the title here, but if he just loses the match again, what are we doing?
I mean, is there a way for Drew to look strong again? Why not win the title? I mean, you could win. Drew could win by DQ or something. I don't know. Maybe Cody goes
Oh yeah,
nuts
I
and
mean, yeah, as long as he doesn't get just pinned in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3. I mean, if that happens, then it's just like, okay, what are we doing?
yeah, I agree. Um, I'll go Cody for this one just cause, but I hope they do something. Because look, do we see Cody walking in WrestleMania with the title still like last year?
Man, that's the thing. It's just I could see it if he were to have won it back, like if he won it back in January, no problem. But if he's just going to sit on it from now until April, ooh, buddy.
And that's the thing too. Also, where's this thing going? What is the ultimate end goal for Cody? Are we going back to Cody against Roman? Are we going to Cody against? I don't know. Where's this going?
I mean, I think the only obvious opponent is Randy right now.
So you want face to face main event?
And but see, that's well, I mean, I think honestly, well, it's only obvious because of their history. Um, the only problem is like if you try, I mean, nobody's gonna boo Randy. So
At this point, no,
no.
because he's like
So,
AJ Styles' point now. He's at the end of his career. You're not booing him at this point now.
so if you try to make an angle out of it, with like Randy turning on him or whatever, I don't think it's going to take because people are not going to boo him. Um, yeah, it's just man. That's why I hope Drew wins because I mean you can have Cody win it back in January or February and go into WrestleMania as champion. That's fine, but if he's just going to sit on it for 5 months, then I think you will have real fatigue by then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You take the top off his hands, it opens up creative, in my opinion.
Yeah, because yeah, if he sits on this belt for the next 5 months, then I think yeah, then you will have real fatigue by then, and he might get booed for real because people just be tired of him.
Fuck it, I'm going Drew. I'm going Drew. This is putting in prayer. Let's go, Drew.
Yeah,
You gonna go Drew too?
yeah.
Okay. All right. Finally, the last match here. It is a singles match for the vacant World Championship match between CM Punk and Jey Uso. Of course, that is the vacant title held because of Seth Rollins' injury. Real quick, we never had a chance to touch on that situation with Seth Rollins. So, the division, the Paul Heyman and company, they turned on him 2 weeks ago. Did you like that? I'm not surprised it happened, obviously. It's a matter of when, but did you like it?
No,
Why?
because okay, they had to do something because Seth is real life injured.
Right.
Okay, but I mean, ultimately, this whole thing with division was going to lead to them turning on him, but I think it's too early, and then there wasn't really and like there's no logic behind it, really.
Yeah.
To do it this, I mean, I know again that their hand was forced; they had to do something, but the Vision, like they were in a feud with like 5 different people.
Mm-hmm.
You could easily just had one of them injure Seth. What LA Knight or Punk or Roman or Jimmy and Jay. Like you could have had one of them injured. Storyline injured Seth Rollins.
I
Or
agree
you
with
could
that.
I mean, to me, I think that's Or you could have just played up or you could have just made the angle, what actually happened, right? He got hurt during the match, and then with Cody, and then had to vacate the title. He could have just, you could have just played it that way. I
I
think
agree.
having them turn on him this soon, and and also when just the logic isn't there. Like, well, they turned on him because he ran his mouth too much. You know, I mean, like, okay, he was the leader of a faction. I mean,
He's a mouthpiece. Well, him and Heyman both. But the things to also, you have to do this right now. You can just put on a holding pattern while he's out, and then
yeah, I
while he's gone, have those two guys dominate, and then he gets back. You can say, "Oh, well, while you were gone, blah 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 blah," and have the infighting there, and then break it up after. But I felt too. It's kind of like the Cena thing too, also with the heel turn and go back to face. Like there's no rhyme or reason. This just did it, even though there's reasons why they did that. But it didn't make any sense in the storytelling.
right. And then also it kind of it puts Becky in the lurch now because she was basically part of the group,
Yeah,
and now like it, you know it's kind of dumb for her to keep going on as a heel right now because her husband got turned on by the group, so that makes him a babyface by default.
mm-hmm.
And so now it kind of, and because she got up in Heyman's face last week, and and all that, so now creatively, like, do you ever keep being a heel? I mean, I guess.
The only thing you can do with that, if she's not a heel, you keep her away from them all in general, and pretend no one, and hope no one thinks about it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, I mean,
you
well,
just have her not be involved in the group at all at any
what,
point.
yeah, yeah, what? Because if she hadn't been involved with the group, it would have been no big deal, right? Because she was, if she'd just been off doing her own thing, it wouldn't have been no big deal. But because she was part of the group, basically, um, you have to, because she was fully entrenched as a heel. So now, like, you can't just turn her on a dime because that doesn't make any sense either, right?
Totally agree with you on that.
So now you have to come up with some kind of road for her, to going back to being a babyface, so that when Seth comes back, they'll be together. Whereas, if they waited for Seth to come back and then they turn on him, well, then you don't have, then that's easy. You don't have to, come up with a big story for that, because that's her husband. They turn on him, she's with him.
Yeah,
But now it's like they turn on him and he's not there to fight back, and she's just kind of out there.
yeah,
So I think, I just think it was a wrong choice.
yeah. I agree with you on that. I think it was just I think it was a rush decision just to kind of he's gonna be out, Holland's gonna be out, just kind of just take off the band-aid now while you can and just call it a day. I mean, I get why you did it. I just didn't agree with it. It just didn't, it felt too, because I know we knew it was going to happen at some point, no matter what. It was a matter of when. But you could have added more intrigue to the story by just waiting and still do a lot with him being out while he's still part of the group, and then use that again when he gets back into like, hey, by the way, while you're gone, we've grown, blah blah blah, and he can like say, well, I'm the leader now. Well, I'm not the leader. Well, I'm the leader now since you've been gone, and you have and they have the infighting. That's how you do it. You buy yourself 5-6 months of TV time for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I mean that's where I think they screwed up there. And I think that's something Vince would have been known to do. Like he was put on the shelf.
Because when Seth got hurt before, they they had a tournament for the title,
Mm-hmm.
and then they didn't address you know they didn't address anything with him until he got back.
Right. So,
So
as for this match here, Jey Uso against CM Punk.
I
Oh,
think
oh,
I think it's gonna be Punk.
Are we inching closer to a Jey Uso heel turn here? Or is this them just teasing us here a little bit?
I think you're teasing it because it wouldn't make sense. Well, okay, it wouldn't make business sense to do that. And again, are people going to boo him?
If we give him a reason to boo him.
I mean,
I agree with you what you're saying in theory. But if you do something dastardly like him, like all of a sudden, Big Jim, all of a sudden now we're starting to gain some ground again now, and so the thought is like if this were to go through, you're now swapping the heel and face in that angle, whereas before, his brother was the heel and Jay was the face, and now we have Jay's is the heel and Jim is the face. I don't know. I don't want to be honest with you. I don't want them to split the brothers again. I miss the Usos. I really do.
yeah, for me, I don't want them to do it either because what was it going to lead to them? Because they had that WrestleMania match, which was not very good, and
terrible, in fact.
Yeah, and I mean, like, do we really want to do that again? I mean,
no, I don't. I definitely don't.
Because I mean, and that's the thing. If Jay turns heel, then that's where it eventually leads.
Right. Exactly.
I don't think we want to do that again.
No. I'll go Punk here because Punk's had a title already once,
and also, well, I mean, look, and he had it for 5 minutes, like literally.
Like literally 5 minutes. Yeah.
So this is a chance to this is a chance to give him a real title reign for months.
I think he holds the Rumble.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think he'll be a long-term champion. So I'll take Punk on this one. So there you go. This should be an interesting show though, because I think these main events typically are not like they're not PLEs obviously, but something always happens on these shows. Something consequential could happen in the show. I feel like we're gonna get obviously the one title change. Obviously, gonna have the one with the vacant title, but I think we're gonna have another one probably with I think to be honest, I think I'm really believing Jade will win this title on Saturday. There's no doubt they want to test this thing as soon as possible. So
yeah,
I'll take Jade in that one.
Yeah, I think you got to, because again we're at the point now where it's like, now what are we doing?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, unless they want to wait till Survivor Series. Survivor Series is at the end of November.
Yeah, and by the way, when we do a show again before Survivor Series, I want to discuss that. Why is Survivor Series so hard to? That's a book, but for some reason, for it being a big 4, big 5 PLE, through the years has been the one, especially in the last 15, 20 years, been the hardest to like book. But we'll discuss it down the road because that's something I want your opinion about, because I never understood why the name value alone should be able to dominate that, but that's neither here nor there. We'll discuss it down the road. Right. Anything else want to talk about before we close?
Let's see.
Because I've been out of the loop last couple weeks. I'm only now catching up on the last, like, I counted. I was like a PLE, 3 Raws, and 3 SmackDowns behind. So now I'm watching. I'm gonna.
Well, this week's episode of Raw was very good, and they went heavy on the ring work this week, which was needed because, I mean, sometimes they just do too many of these, big long, monologue kind of promo segments.
Right.
And so I would tell people definitely, like, check out this week's Raw. If because again, it was heavy on ring work, and the ring work was all really good. And well, yeah, I mean, we watched not Heat Wave, Halloween Havoc last week, and
how was that?
It was good. And NXT is really, like, out of all of them, NXT is the easiest one to watch if you're if you're into it.
I don't have the time for it anymore, bro. That's the only thing. I don't have time for it.
I mean, yeah, I just I would say if you're interested and you have time, that I understand, like, if that's asking a lot to, you know, ask people to watch NXT on top of everything else, right? But
Right.
if you are into NXT, if you're interested and you do have time, to me, it's the easiest one of the three to watch.
Mm. Yeah. One day, maybe next year when things get a little quieter on the sports front, I'll probably tap into NXT. I mean, again, the only era NXT I really truly did love was the black and gold era, with
Yeah,
Adam Cole, and that to me was fun, so much fun. But again, once COVID happened, it just kind of killed all the momentum they had.
and then
So
and then honestly, for the once they switched to calling it NXT 2.0 for a while.
that was stupid.
Well, the thing is, they rebranded because they were going back to being a purely developmental show.
Right, which I understood that.
Because as good as the NXT Black and Gold was, it wasn't accomplishing its mission. It was supposed to be developing people for the main roster, and it wasn't really doing that.
It was competing it for a while.
Because like I mean, honest, because hardly anybody from that like 2017 to 2021 period or 2020, hardly anybody came up that amounted to anything. Um,
Yeah, a lot of failures.
so
Or
it wasn't.
or letdowns, I say, not failures, letdowns.
And then like guys like Adam Cole didn't want to come up to the main roster, and that's the other thing. So I mean, you had guys who didn't want to come up to the main roster. The people who were coming up were not panning out to the degree that which people kind of hoped they would.
Hmm.
So they had to stop and well, because stories like Vince actually went down. I mean, Bruce Pritchard went down there one day and looked around and basically were like, "What the hell is this?" Because I mean, okay, I mean, as much look, yes, we enjoy watching people like Adam Cole wrestle and like whatnot, but you know, you put Adam Cole in the ring with Brock Lesnar, the visual is just,
No way. Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with you on that. Totally agree with you on that one. So yeah, one day I'll tap back in again. I do recognize the talent there is amazing, but I don't have the time to fit. I don't have time to put AW. I'm watching AW anymore. I mean, like I said, I would like to watch AW again at some point, at least a little bit. I've been on it. I'm just maxed out with brain space on what amount of stuff I can watch anymore. And some things
well,
are
yeah, that's the
tougher.
thing. Like, yeah, I mean, because there's only we all have only so much time and so much kind of
Yep.
bandwidth as far as attention.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Too many books to read, too many podcasts to listen to, too many
yeah,
podcasts to
exactly.
do. Yeah. It's what, and then, like I said, I do all this shit here too. Also, I'm just burnt out. So
It's like for me,
anyway, mhm,
I barely watch any regular TV.
there you go.
Regular TV, I watch Law and Order.
I watch what my wife wants to watch. Now I watch with her. So
So yeah, I
yeah,
don't watch any regular TV except for
yeah,
Law and Order.
right, right.
Because I mean, between wrestling and then
Sports and
all now, and then I try to keep up with basketball again. It's just again just don't have time.
I don't blame you, brother. Don't blame me at all.
So look, we all got to pick and choose, and which which things we're going to devote our time and attention to.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. All right, Rob. Anything going on in your world? What's going on? Any new podcasts coming down? What's going on?
Well, because I went up to Boston a few weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and because me and Jason went to TNA Bound for Glory,
Yep.
but on the way back I got sick. I mean, it was
Oh
a cold,
shit.
it was a bad one, and so I just for about a couple of weeks I just wasn't up for talking much and all that, and I was coughing a whole lot and everything, so
Yeah.
that just threw off my whole schedule, and so I'm finally back to normal now. So I have
Good.
a half finished episode now. I finally finish.
Yeah. It's cool, man. I know you're getting the can soon. You're getting the can. So I know I'll give you shit for that though, but you're getting the can soon. I'm sure. So all right, and the Minus boys doing okay?
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. And of course, you can follow me on X at EJChristian7. False count anywhere, a product of the Earnestly podcast. Of course, subscribe on any podcast catcher, especially on YouTube at Earnestly Pod on YouTube, on TikTok as well, too. Earnestly Pod on TikTok as well. Until the next episode, which will be either next week or the week after, we'll obviously try to react to the main event and other things of that nature. We will talk to you guys soon. Later.